Brothers and sisters, close your eyes for a moment and take a deep breath. In the stillness of silence, we find clarity. In the pause between words, we discover wisdom. Today, let us embark on a journey into the power of silence and how mastering it can lead us to true victory. One of the greatest gifts that many of us overlook in life is the gift of restraint. In a world that constantly pushes us to react, to respond, to shout, and to defend, it is the one who holds back that often rises higher. The strength of the believer is not in how loudly he speaks or how swiftly he replies, but rather in his ability to control what he says when emotions are stirred. You see, when a person is angry and they restrain themselves, Allah elevates them. When a person is able to keep silent in the face of provocation, it is not weakness, it is power. And this is a lesson we see throughout the lives of the prophets and the righteous. They were not men of noise. They were people of calm, measured responses. When we learn to restrain our tongues, we save ourselves from 1,000 regrets. How many times have we said something in haste and then later wished we could take those words back? But once a word is uttered, it cannot be taken back. The wound caused by a knife may heal, but a wound caused by the tongue can remain in the heart for years. It is better to stay silent and be thought wise than to speak and reveal the ignorance within. That's why the wise among the companions and the scholars of the past would weigh their words before speaking, just like you would weigh gold on a scale before spending it. Our words are a form of currency. Spend them wisely. Restraint is not only about silence in speech, it also includes controlling our reactions, our impulses, our anger, our need to prove ourselves right. Sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is to walk away with grace. You don't need to win every argument. You don't need to respond to every insult. You don't need to prove your worth to every critic. When you know who you are in the sight of your Creator, when you know your intention is pure and your heart is sincere, then the criticism of others does not harm you. The approval of people will come and go, but the approval of Allah is eternal. There are moments when silence is more eloquent than speech. When someone accuses you unjustly and you remain silent, the heavens record your patience. When someone slanders you and you respond with calm, the angels write it down as an act of strength. When you hold back your tongue, even though you have every reason to let it loose, you are not being weak, you are being strong. And not just strong in the worldly sense, but spiritually strong. You are protecting your soul from sin, you are shielding your heart from pride, and you are training your ego to submit. This is not easy. It takes practice, it takes awareness, and it takes a deep reliance on the Almighty. We ask Him to help us hold our tongues in times of trial. We ask Him to purify our speech so that when we do speak, our words are words of healing, not harm. It is said that the mouth should only speak what the heart approves. If what is inside your heart is toxic, it will reflect in your words. But if your heart is filled with sincerity, kindness, and humility, then your speech becomes a form of remembrance, a form of mercy, a form of light. Look at the example of the one who is insulted in public. Everyone expects him to retaliate, but he takes a breath and says nothing. The crowd may mock him, some may even see him as defeated. But the one above writes down for him a reward more precious than gold, because he restrained himself when he could have unleashed a storm. This is a secret of the spiritual giants. They understand that victory is not in reacting, it is in responding with wisdom, or sometimes not responding at all. This is especially important in the age of social media, where everyone has an opinion and everyone is quick to share it. You see people arguing day and night over matters they don't even fully understand. Back and forth, comment after comment, and for what? To win an argument, to prove a point. What is the cost of that win? How much peace did you lose? How much time did you waste? How much harm did you cause just to feel like you were right? Sometimes the most honorable response is to scroll past, to say nothing, to preserve your energy for what truly matters. The one who practices restraint lives lighter. He sleeps better. His mind is clearer. He doesn't carry the weight of grudges, nor does he fuel fires of conflict. He is at peace because he chooses peace. He is respected not because of how loud he is, but because of how wisely he speaks when he chooses to speak. And when he speaks, people listen because they know he doesn't speak for the sake of speaks with purpose. He speaks from a place of knowledge, sincerity, and reflection. Restraint teaches us that not every battle is worth fighting, and not every voice deserves a response. It teaches us to differentiate between what demands our attention and what is merely a distraction. You cannot pour your energy into everything. Protect your time, guard your tongue, and remember that silence, when practiced with intention, is a form of worship. It is a sign of maturity. It is a pathway to wisdom. And so, my dear brothers and sisters, if you ever find yourself in a situation where the urge to respond is strong, ask yourself, what will I gain from this? Will this please Allah? Will this bring peace to my heart? Or is this my ego wanting to be heard? If the answer is unclear, it is better to be silent. That silence with the right intention becomes an act of devotion. And through devotion comes clarity. Through clarity comes success. And through success, by the will of Allah, comes true victory. My beloved brothers and sisters, as we reflect on restraint, let us also reflect on the other half of its beauty, the art of listening. We often think that communication is about speaking, about sharing our views, expressing our thoughts, but real communication starts with listening. And not just hearing someone's words, but listening with the heart. When we truly listen, we honor the other person. We make space for their experience. We acknowledge their presence. Listening is one of the most profound acts of respect you can offer someone. In the Quran, Allah commands us to listen attentively when the Quran is being recited. Why? Because in listening, there is mercy. In listening, there is understanding. In listening, there is transformation. The one who listens carefully gains more knowledge than the one who speaks constantly. Listening is the gateway to wisdom. The scholars of old used to say, you learn more by keeping your mouth closed than by keeping it open. This isn't just about formal learning, it applies to everyday life. When you listen to someone with genuine attention, you begin to understand them. You see where they are coming from. You recognize their pain, their fears, their hopes. Many of our conflicts arise because we are too quick to respond and too slow to listen. We assume, we interrupt, we judge before understanding, and in doing so we break hearts. But when you train yourself to listen, you become a person who brings healing. The friend who listens becomes the one who is sought after. The parent who listens earns the trust of their child. The spouse who listens brings peace to their home. And the believer who listens to the word of Allah and to the guidance of the Prophet gains clarity in this world and success in the next. Listening also teaches humility. Because when you listen, you are admitting that you don't know everything. You are opening yourself up to learning. You are setting aside your ego and saying, there is something valuable this person may teach me. And often, the one we least expect to learn from is the one who has the most profound insight. Allah can send wisdom through any tongue, young or old, educated or uneducated, Muslim or non-Muslim. If we are humble enough to listen, we will grow. But if we are too proud to listen, we will miss the signs sent our way. Listening brings light to relationships. Think of the person who listens to your worries without rushing to solve them, who listens to your story without making it about themselves. That person becomes beloved to you because they made you feel heard. And that is something the heart never forgets. You don't need to be a scholar to offer comfort sometimes. All it takes is an open ear and a compassionate heart. And by simply listening, you become a means of ease for someone else. But the highest form of listening is listening to what Allah is telling us through His book, through the signs around us, through the quiet moments in our lives. Are we listening? Are we taking heed of what He is showing us? Are we pausing long enough to hear what our own souls are trying to say? Or are we drowning it all out with noise, distractions, and endless chatter? Consider for a moment the weight of a single word. A word can be a seed of hope planted in the heart, or a blade that cuts and wounds. How often do we speak without realizing the ripple effects of our tongue? Each syllable we utter carries a potential to lift someone from despair or to plunge them deeper into sorrow. It is said that the tongue is like a lion. If you let it loose, it will wound someone. But if you control it, you gain mastery over your own soul. So when you speak, aim to build bridges, not barriers, to erect homes of compassion, not walls of bitterness. Imagine your words as bricks, each one placed carefully to create a fortress of dignity around those you love, around those you meet, even around those you struggle with. When anger knocks at your door, answer with kindness. When frustration spills from your lips, channel it into encouragement. In every conversation, pause and ask yourself, will this word sow mercy or mistrust? Will it bring light to the heart or darkness to the spirit? By asking this, you transform your speech into an act of worship, each word a prayer, each sentence a testament to your higher purpose. Think back on moments when you received harsh words in your most vulnerable state. Perhaps you shared a worry only to be met with curt dismissal. Perhaps you reached out for comfort only to be handed a sermon. Those words lingered, they dug into your heart, left scars unseen yet deeply felt. Now imagine the